What are the lessons, more importantly, about how we got out of the Jim Crow era? Well, one of my first lessons as a musician, as an artist, is that there was still a lot of beauty and a lot of joy and a lot of art that came out of that period. I mean, some of the most beautiful music and art from the Black community came out of the Jim Crow era. Langston Hughes came out of the Jim Crow era. Zora Neale Hurston, the Harlem Renaissance, Josephine Baker, all of that came out of Jim Crow. But that period lasted a long time, okay? It's at least 70 years, okay? Some would say even through the Civil Rights era, really the Voting Rights Act, when the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act were passed in the mid 60s, that was really kind of the official end of the Jim Crow era. So somewhere between 70 and 90 years, Jim Crow lasted the first time. Does it have to last that long this time around? I don't think so. Not if we know how to take the lessons of the past and apply them to the current age. And I'm not saying that I have any groundbreaking answers for any of us right now, but I'm saying the first step is to understand that there is, as Ecclesiastes says, there is nothing new under the sun. We're not experiencing something brand new. This is quite old. And studying our history can help us understand how we make it through these times. We have to understand the era that we are in, and that will help us to know the way out of it. So my first assignment to you would begin to study that era where that resistance started to happen, that resistance to Jim Crow. And that really started to happen in the early 20th century. I would say right around 1909, 1910, you're seeing the founding of the NAACP. That was like the new Negro movement. That was the very early start of the civil rights movement. And they were pushing back against, the KKK, which was really seeing a resurgence that was happening around that same time. But we need to start studying the lessons of the civil rights movement from the early part of the 20th century all the way through the mid 20th century when, Martin Luther King Jr. came along, who we know a lot better than we know people like W.B. Du Bois. But I hear too many people asking, what are Democrats going to do? What are the politicians going to do? Nothing. The politicians did not save us the last time. Our redemption and our ability to move through that time and to break through all of that crap, it didn't happen because of politicians. Let's remember that. There were civic leaders, there were community organizers, there were people of faith, both black and white, who were pushing to move us through those times. But it did not happen because of the work of politicians. Let's remember that lesson. And if we can grab hold of those lessons, those breadcrumbs, as I like to call them, that our forefathers left for us, it does not have to take us as long to get through this desert experience as it took them. Because they didn't have the advantage of looking at anybody else's experience. Maybe Moses, that's it. So that's my advice to all of us right now. Let's understand the moment that we are in and we can move forward with a little bit more clarity. Let's understand what it means to exist in this current Jim Crow era. And let's make sure it does not take us as long to get out of this one as it took them to get out of that one.